Hello, people of the internet, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to talk about a book that I finished reading recently called Picture of Dorian Gray. Well, let me tell you something about this book. I could rate it out of 5 on a scale from 1 to 10. Let me explain why. Okay, so I liked how the book began because it was interesting, picturing this painter who met this gorgeous person, and he was inspired to paint him, and then it was this mystery that existed at the beginning, and as the story evolved I didn't quite like it just because of this character called Henry, who is the character that poisons the white canvas, who will be the handsome man in the book, who commits various acts of low morale, if we can call it that way. The way Lord Henry describes women in the book, kind of ridiculizing women. So basically, Lord Henry speaks of women. They are the decorative sex, and there are only a few women worth talking to, and for some reason I was infuriated. While I was reading that, I was just my feminism was coming out of me, how can you expand on this? But it was the book published in 1890, so it's definitely didn't have those connotation about women empowerment and feminism like we have now. But I did find comfort in the fact that the character Dorian, who walked down the low moral path, in quotation mark, ruining the lives of women and committing a murder in the book as well, in the end he doesn't escape karma, and in the end karma reaches him as well, which was comforting for me to read. I just didn't want to be immersed in a book where crime just happens without a consequence, because that's how it felt for me for majority of it. In my book analysis, I would just always try to mention good and bad parts of the book, in my opinion, based on metaphors that can be applied to daily life, or just little bits of advice and learnings we can take to real life. So for me, as I just mentioned, the bits that I didn't like one of the characters depicted women and talked about women, and how the majority of the bad behaviors of the main character seem to be about making women fall in love with him, and then just hurting young women and ruining women's lives. And I just hate that. I kind of pull and rescue to be learning. It's how when people are young, we can be white canvases, like Dorian was. He was young, he was just at the beginning he was naive, and he was just curious about the world. And then when characters like Lord Henry, who are in quotation marks a little bit corrupted, come and spread their philosophy and way of living life to young people who can be vulnerable and receptive to these kind of things, that's not good. So I think a good learning from the book is how to develop our own sense of thinking, of our own set of values, and what it makes us feel good, and not let negative influences pollute us or even for real. So I was saying that towards the end of the book, the main character Dorian ends up getting his karma. I don't want to spoil the book. All I'm trying to say is that at least the learning I have from the book, and something that keeps coming up in life, it's that it's important to have your own thoughts and develop critical thinking. So that was all from me talking about Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Thanks for watching.